Hello everyone, my name is Patrick Anderson and today I'm going to show you how to use Google Hangouts or Google Hangouts Meet to have video conferences or video calls with friends or co-workers. Before we begin, I'd like to give you some general tips, and this doesn't really matter which product that you're using. All of them can you can apply any of these tips to any video conferencing software. First of all, I would recommend that you and your guests use a mic and headset. The one I'm going to be using today is from a phone that I got probably like 3 or 4 years ago, actually even longer. It's a Samsung. Any little headset works. The microphone is actually here. You can use the bigger headsets with the over-the-ear speakers, but whatever works for you. The reason for this is that when you are using your laptop using just a built-in mic and built-in camera with the speakers, you get a lot of feedback. It's like using a speakerphone. So when you multiply that by 3 or 4 or 8 or 10, however many people that you have on the conference call, it can get very noisy. And if you have it all plugged into just a headset, it cuts down on a lot of that and sounds a lot clearer, easier to understand. And speaking of all of that noise, one of the things that I would recommend is just sort of spread the word as you're inviting people to join, to mute their microphones before they join. As the Google conferences get bigger, it will automatically start muting people when they join, but it's just sort of a good practice. Like when somebody comes in, they can join and then unmute their microphone. First of all, it cuts down on the sound issues. Second of all, at least they will know how to mute and unmute. And when you get into the bigger conference calls, it's nice to be able to get people to unmute when they're talking and then mute themselves when they're just listening. It just makes for a lot quieter, better presentation. I've been mentioning Hangouts and Hangouts Meet, and I'll go over what the differences are between those two pieces of software / platform. So Hangouts is the consumer version. So everybody that has a Gmail account or a Google account has access to Hangouts. Hangouts Meet is sort of the business version, and it's if you have a G Suite account for business or education or nonprofits, you have access to that. And if you don't have access to it, you can get access for $6 per month per user for the business basic version. And nonprofits and education, that's like a completely different ballgame. I think it's discounted or free depending on your organization size, but you'll have to, I'll put links below so that you can figure out like how to get access through one of those avenues. The first difference that you'll see between Google Hangouts and Google Hangouts Meet is the number of users that are allowed online at any one time. With Google Hangouts, you're restricted to just 25 people at a time, which is actually quite a lot. Most people will have conference calls that are smaller than that. Google Hangouts Meet usually has a limit of 100 for the G Suite Basic, but right now with coronavirus, they've upped that to 250 people. In addition to having all of the features of Google Hangouts Meet has a couple of bonus features. One, you can record the sessions and it'll save to your Google Drive. The other thing is that you can turn on captions, which is very, very useful when you are busy and doing other things or maybe have some background noise going on. Turn on closed captions and it will do like a live with a slight lag interpretation of what everybody is saying. So that's actually pretty useful. Google Hangouts Meet also has the ability for people to call in. It'll give you a call-in number with a PIN. And what's really sort of cool about that is that you can get a list of numbers for a number of different countries. We were using it last week and we found out that there are numbers throughout Europe, South Africa. We looked up, there is not one for Israel, but it's just sort of all around the world, there's a bunch of dial-in numbers and you just have to look to see if the country that you need it is covered. So what are the requirements for people to join? Well, as a host, you have to be the one that knows how to set everything up. But as a user, it's really quite easy. As long as somebody has a webcam and microphone, if they want to join with the video call or just a microphone, if they don't want to do the video part, they're pretty much probably set. It is accessible via any browser pretty much. So if you use Firefox, Opera, Chrome, Microsoft Internet Explorer, or Microsoft Edge, you're covered. Although there are some limitations for using Internet Explorer, so I would recommend against that. Okay, I guess now we need to get started and I'll do a little bit of a walkthrough with using Google Hangouts first, and then after that, Google Hangouts Meet. So I'm going to turn on my screen recorder and we'll get started. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I'm going to put in my headset as I recommended earlier. To get started for this tutorial, I'm going to start my Gmail account and click on the Google Apps icon or menu. Scroll down and find Hangouts. You can also just type in hangouts.google.com. So you click on video call and it'll turn on my webcam and also pop up this invite screen. So by people's emails address, I can send them invites if I have that. Or if they are already in my contacts, I could just enter their name. Another easy way to send out the video call information is to copy the link. And I'll go ahead and do that right now. Actually, close this. I've learned it's best if I mute my microphone. And then let me go back over here to Hangouts. I'm going to send it to myself. And then it's going to pop up on my phone. Open the link, pick which account that I want to join from. And it shows me a preview of what it's going to look like when I join. I'm going to go ahead, the same options down here to mute or turn off my camera. I'm going to turn off the microphone and click join. Now let me go back over here. And now I am in the call one-on-one. I can see the other person, which is me, my alter ego. Let me click on what my webcam is showing, it's just easier. Set the phone down. So as you add more people, they'll just pop up along here. By default, what happens is the person that is talking or where the noise is coming will be featured in the main screen. If you want to feature one particular person, you can click on their image and it'll show them to you. Over here, you have in-conference chat features. So if somebody's speaking and you want to make a comment, but you don't want to interrupt them, you have your microphone muted, you can type messages, click on show messages, and it'll show like a running dialogue of all the messages. Again, we have the mute icon as well as to turn off the camera, and you can turn the camera off while you're in the call and turn it back on. If you decide you want to add more people while you're in the call, you just click on the add button. It's just like it was before. You can copy it again, copy the link again. In settings, you can basically switch. So like if you have an external webcam, you can click the down arrow and there would be the option to select the external webcam. Same thing for the microphone, same thing for the speakers. For bandwidth, by default, it's going to try to broadcast and receive in HD quality. If you're having any lagging issues or bad connection, you can switch to SD quality and that should help quite a bit. Now, one other cool thing you can do, let me check here. You can also share your screen. So you can share the entire screen. So that's what's on my two screens. I actually have two monitors set up here. Or I can share from one particular window. So what I'll do is I'll select, you can do this, Bandicam, that's my screen recorder. So I'll share that so you can see what that looks like. And then that's presented out to everybody else in the call. And then to stop the screen sharing, I hit stop. And that's basically it. Really quick and simple, very easy to do to set up a call and just get it going. And now what I'm going to do is I'll show you one other way to schedule a call or set up a call by scheduling it. So the way to do that is go back to your Gmail account. Click on the Google Apps icon again. We'll go to Calendar. And for Calendar, you can do calendar.google.com. And then schedule a meeting, just like any normal meeting. And the key is when you want to add a video call, click on that, add location or conferencing, click on add conferencing, and now it says Hangouts. So when you hit save, you can then click on it, right click on where it says join Hangouts, copy link address, and then you'll see, like if I pasted that, let me go to a new tab. Hangouts.google, blah, blah, blah. Very long link, but that will get somebody in there so that they can join your video conference. So that's it for Google Hangouts. Next up, let's move over and do Google Hangouts Meet. So here I'm switching over to my G Suite account. Go to the Google Apps menu. And instead of looking for Hangouts, we're going to do Meet. Right away, you can see that the start screen is different. You can join a meeting. So if somebody sends you a meeting code, you can actually type it in here, or more than likely you would just click on the link, but that's, if you have a code, you could enter it in right there. But we're going to do a test meeting. Continue. And instead of starting the call immediately, it lets me sort of do like a preview mode so it can see what my camera is seeing. And it allows me to turn off the camera or the microphone just like before. You can also present, which means basically sharing your screen. I would rather, I think it's better to actually go into the meeting and then hit present, but it's up to you. There's also this unique little function to join and use a phone for audio. So what that does is like it lets you join and use your webcam to present to other people, but you can use your like cell phone or landline for audio. And for some people that might be preferable because you have a nice headset on your like desk phone at work or something like that. We're gonna not use that. Hit mute on my microphone and hit join now. And then this is how I get the sharing information for this one. So it pops up, I can like manually copy it, or just click on copy joining info like I just did. Or I could actually type, come down here and type in people's names. That's all those people that have spammed me, type in their email address. Or I can actually call people. So I could call someone up and they would be able to join audio only if I called them that way. So let me go back to that joining info. If you miss it, it's down here. If you, the bottom left, you click on the arrow, copy joining info. You also notice that there's a US dial-in and PIN. If I copy the joining info and paste it, I'm going to go back over here. So now on my phone, click on the link again. Open the app. And then I will ask to join. Come back over to Meet. And I can either deny or admit. Of course, we want to admit because I just sent out this info. Hit the microphone again. So now let's go over some of the features in here. The chat for Google Hangouts Meet is over on the right side. The list of people is right next to that, so I can see who all is in the meeting. If I want to add people, click on Add People. Or again, I can use the sharing info that's down on the bottom left. Now, a couple of other features that are different for Google Hangouts Meet. One is change layout. So auto layout, Google will pick which layout it thinks is best. Sidebar will have like the main person in the middle, plus all the other attendees on the right. Spotlight will just show whoever's talking and that's it. And then tiled will basically pick the main presenter and then a couple of other people to highlight, usually the people that have recently talked. I can also turn on captions. And captions will not work because I have my microphone muted, but let me unmute my microphone for a second. And you can see that it will translate almost in real time. Got to mute my microphone so I don't get the feedback. You can also present now, which is just like the screen sharing. And I'll pick a window again. You got to be careful when you do entire screen, because if you get some type of pop-up message or something like that, it's basically going to broadcast everything to everybody else in the meeting. So I'm going to just share my screen recording utility again. And it takes a few seconds, but now it's presenting to everyone. When I'm done, hit stop sharing. And now we're back to normal. So one of the things is it gets more and more busy. There will be people that forget to mute their microphone. You can actually click on the other people in the meeting and mute their microphone if you're the host. They can unmute themselves, but you cannot unmute them, and that's for privacy reasons. You can also kick people out. We'll go into settings. This is the same type of thing where you can pick your microphone and speakers for your audio, and then which camera you want to use for your video, and the send and receive resolutions. So normally you can pick up the HD quality. I think because this is a very crowded platform right now with the coronavirus going on, I'm limited to 360p, but you can see it looks pretty good anyways. One difference with Google Hangouts Meet is that you can switch to audio only, so that it'll limit all of the people speaking to you to just voice only if you're really having problems with lag issues. So that's basically it for Google Hangouts Meet. I'll show you in 1 second. There's also the same option for scheduling a meeting ahead of time. Let me close this window. Come back over here. Go to my calendar in G Suite. Slight difference in how it does the meeting scheduling. Test. Add a time. We'll say 11:30. Add conferencing. And then it says join Hangouts Meet instead of join Hangouts. And it actually gives me a little short URL. So that's all I need to copy that I can send to everybody to join. If I want to share the phone number, that's also available down here. Once I hit save, I think I can go in and see the info. And then I can also click on the copy icon and it'll copy it to the clipboard. So that's basically it. Very simple as well. If you have any questions, make sure you send them to me in the comments below, or you can email me at patrick.anderson@gmail.com. That's it for now. So stay safe. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you soon.